Hello guys, you're welcome again to another After Effects tutorials, and today I want to show you how you can create a stylish white logo animation in Adobe After Effects like this one. So support me on this one. Do not forget to like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then turn on the notification. Come back, let's get started. Now in Adobe After Effects, beforehand I've already set up my composition, add a solid background, and then also imported the music right here as you can see, just to save some time. Beautiful. If you want to get this music, I will leave a link in the description. I got it from Audio Jungle, so you can go there, download, and then follow up with the tutorials. So the first we're going to do is to start creating the shapes you saw in the beginning of this tutorial. So go here at the top right here and select the polygon tool. So we're going to click at the center and then hold Ctrl and Shift to make sure we draw an even shape like this. If you want to see what you are doing, you can just simply change the color. But at this time, I'm going to set the stroke to none. And then set a fill color. Any color will do right here. Make sure, of course, it's on top of your BG layer. Hold down Control key and double click on the anchor tool here so that we can center the anchor point right at the middle. So what we're going to do now is to expand the polygon tool option and change the polygon point to 6. That is going to give us this one. Make sure you align this to center. I want to scale this down a bit. I just want it down a bit like this is okay. Select the pen tool. I want to draw a mask on top of this shape layer, but if you want to do that, it's not going to be possible because it's equally a shape layer. So you cannot draw a mask directly on top. So we're going to go up right here and activate the mask tool on top of a shape layer like you can see right here. Click it, then it will activate that. So I'm going to pull back in and slice this logo into 3. Duplicate this. Hit M on your keyboard to expand the mask property and set this to subtract. Still click on the masking tool at the top here so that we can be able to keep masking the shape layer. If you do not remember to click that, the masking is not going to be activated for this shape layer. So we're going to still slice this further. So I'm going to hit M on my keyboard to reveal the masking property. So I'm going to set this new mask also to subtract, so that I will have the middle slide. Duplicate this one more time. I will delete the mask 1. Then I will set the mask 2 to add. That way I have my 3 slices. So this must not necessarily be perfect, but if you can make it an equal slice like I have in my example, that would be perfect. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to show you what it is. So I'm going to move the anchor point to the middle of each slide. So I'll move my time indicator to 1 second forward in time. I will hit the top slice and the bottom slice and hit P on my keyboard to set a keyframe for the position. For the middle slide, I'm going to hit S to reveal the scale property and set a scale for that. Then I'll go back to 0. I will set the middle one scale value to 0. Then I'll move the top one or the bottom one. I'll move this like this. Feel free to move it to your own direction. Make sure you move it outside the preview window. I'll select the first one too and move it to the right. Now if you preview this, this is what you have. Beautiful. Easy is the keyframes. Select the 3 slices and pre-compose them. Make sure you move all attributes to the new composition and name this shape 1. Then you hit OK. So what I'm going to do now is to go into this slice and copy one of these. Then I'll go back to my main composition and paste it right on top. You can change the color so that you can see what you are doing. So I'll hit M on my keyboard to delete all the mask. So now I have this. So I'll make sure I move the anchor point to the center. Hit U on your keyboard to also remove the animations. Align this back to center. So I'm going to move my time indicator to 2 seconds forward in time. I will hit S on my keyboard to reveal the scale property and set a scale for this. I'll move to this point and set the scale value to 0. Ease the keyframes. Now you have this. So I'm just going to set the timing so that it will happen a little bit sooner. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is to toggle this timeline so that I can see my track matte properties. So what I'm going to do is to select this shape 1 and set the track matte to alpha inverted. So now if you play, you will see what that does. Beautiful. Right click on your timeline, go to new and then create a new null object. We're going to name this control. I'll also move the anchor point to the center and then align this to the center as well. Now I'm going to hit R on my keyboard to reveal the rotation property. So I'm going to alt click on the rotation and then enter this expression time asterisk 45. Select these both layers, then make it a child of the control. But while doing that, make sure your time indicator is on 0. If you preview now, this is what you have. Beautiful. So I'm going to select all these elements apart from the background, then pre-compose it. I will name this stage 1. I'm going to add a fill effect. Set the color to white. Add a drop shadow effect. Increase the softness. I'm also going to change the color of the shadow to somewhat green. Feel free to choose your own color. Fit this to the preview window so that we can see what we have. This is beautiful. Duplicate this stage 1. Then select the bottom one and set the scale value to 200. That is going to give you this. Beautiful. I want to go into the shape 1. I want to duplicate this polygon shape layer. Then I'll go back to my main composition and then paste it. We have it scaling at the same time where the other one is scaling. That is why we have to copy it to this point. So what I'm going to do now is to set the fill to none and set a stroke color. Reduce the stroke. I'm going to hit U on my keyboard to reveal the scale property. I want to change the scale for this. I will scale it a little bit larger like this. I will just offset the keyframe so that it will not scale up at the same time that we have this bottom one scaling. Duplicate this shape layer twice. So what we're going to do is to hide this very particular one. We're going to scale this down. Then on hide the top one, set the stroke to none and set a fill color. Also scale this down. Use the polygon path transformation to scale this down so that you can still retain your keyframes. So offset this. Duplicate this top one again. Hit U on your keyboard to reveal the scale property. So we're going to delete this first keyframe for this. Select these 3 shape layer and make it a child of the top one. We can change this color so that we can see what we are doing. So we're going to move to the point where the first one just finished scaling. That is at this point, and we're going to move this keyframe to this place. We're going to remove the easy ease by holding Control and clicking on the keyframe. That will remove the easy ease that we have on that keyframe. So we're going to move forward in time and scale this until the black part of it covers our frame. But we're going to cut this so that will delay the time that black starts showing. I think it should start showing at this point, which will be okay. Beautiful. So what we're going to do now is to go into this stage 1 again and copy this controller, Ctrl C. Then you go back to the main composition and paste it by Ctrl V. So make sure your time indicator is at 0. We're going to select this one and make it a child of the controller. If you do not put your time indicator on 0 and it is on 1, the rotation is not going to match the other ones. So make sure your time indicator is always at 0 before you parent it because of the expression on this controller. So if you preview now, this is what we have. Beautiful. You can see that that rotation aligns with the previous rotation that we have on stage 1. Beautiful. So I'm going to select these new shape layers and the controller and then pre-compose it. I will name this stage 2. I will select the stage 1 layer, then copy the fill color and the shadow effect, and then Ctrl C. On my keyboard, I will select the stage 2 and then paste it. That will paste all the property we have on the stage 1. So now we're going to go into stage 2. We will copy this black one or any of the shape. Okay, I'm going to copy the bottom one, Ctrl C to do that. Then I'm go back to the main composition, Ctrl V on your keyboard to paste that as well. Remove the animation and the scaling and everything. Remove the stroke color and then set a fill color. Feel free to set whatever color you like so that you can see it clearly. I will also go in and scale this down. Select the ellipse tool. Make sure no layer is selected. Hold Ctrl and Shift to draw a new circle at the center of this. Move the anchor point to the center. I'll also make sure I align this to the center. I will remove the fill color. Then set a stroke color for this. I will increase the stroke thickness until I have everything filled in. So what I'm going to do now is to go to the add button right here and add a trim path. So I'm going to move my time indicator to the point where that first scale is almost, the stage 2 is almost scaling up. That is from here. At this point, I will expand the trim path and set a keyframe for the end and the start. Then hit U to reveal only the keyframes. So what we're going to do now is to move this keyframe forward a bit and then come back to this point. Yes, here. Then set the value of the end to 0. Then I'll move this keyframe also to this point and then move forward in time and set the value of the start property to 100. Ease your keyframes. Toggle this on your timeline so that it can reveal the track matte. So select this shape, the bottom one, and set the track matte to alpha matte. That will make this to happen. Then all you need to do now is to adjust the keyframe and make sure this starts on time. Go into the last stage, this stage 2, and then copy the controller one more time. Go back to the main composition and paste it again. Make sure your time indicator is at 0. Then select the both shape layers and make it a child of the controller. Select the controller and the 2 shape layers and pre-compose it. Hit OK. Select this last composition right here. We're going to copy the fill effect and also the drop shadow. Ctrl C. And then we'll paste it on this last layer. That is going to transfer all our effect to that. as you can see. So I'm going to duplicate this, offset the bottom one like this. I'm going to scale this to 140. So I'm going to duplicate this a couple of more times. You feel free to duplicate it as many times as you like, but make sure you add 40 to the last scale number. That is, at every duplicate you add 40% incrementally. Beautiful. So the next thing we're going to do now is to select the first stage at the bottom right here, duplicate it one more time, move it to the top. You're going to offset it to the point where this animation is almost going back. Let's fit this back to our preview window so that we can see it properly. So we're going to time it to this point. Let's time it to this point where that rotation finished. I'm going to increase this to half so that I can see it a bit clearly. Now it is time to add our logo. So navigate to where you have your logo and then import the logo. I'm going to accept this setting and then hit OK. I'll expand this place, the folder that is added, and then select the main logo, drag and drop it into your composition. Then hit S on the keyboard to scale this down to whatever size you like. Of course, the one that will fit into the design. Then I'm gonna pre-compose it and name this logo holder and then move all attributes to the new composition. Let's offset it to this point where the animation is about completing. Yes, about this point. So we're going to select one of these layers. We have to switch again back to effects and control, then select the fill and the drop shadow effect, copy it and then paste it onto the logo holder. That is going to give you this. So hit S on the keyboard and reveal the scale property. Move to the point where this just completed and set a scale keyframe. Then move to the beginning right here and set the scale value to 0. Ease your keyframes. Let's switch this panel to Project Manager window again. Let's select the remaining part of the logo, drop it into your composition. So I'm going to scale this down. Move the position right below the logo. So what I'm going to do now is to move my time indicator forwards just slightly when the logo finishes completing, set a keyframe for the scale, then I'll move back to this point and then set the scale value for this to 0. Copy the effect you have on the logo and paste it onto the tag. So, but I'm going to change the fill color. I'm going to change it to somewhat gray like this. Feel free to choose your own colors. So if you preview the entire thing now, this is what you have. Beautiful. And that is how you can create a stylized or a stylish logo animation in Adobe After Effects without the use of any third-party plugin. If you learned something new on this video, please hit the like button. That will enable the algorithm to suggest this to more people. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me in the comment section and I'll reply to all questions as quick as I can. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can support me in any way. You can give me super thanks, subscribe to my membership, whatever way you want to support me with. Even if you share the video, that is also a huge support and it is highly appreciated. If you like the video, leaving a comment is all a support. So in whatever way you are able to support me, I highly appreciate you. So until I see you again on the next one, my name is SSB Otaru from MotionDigit Studios.